Bill's here. Alright, so the plan is to back the truck up with the tires in between. Let me find the best angle here. There we go. In between, or falling out just on the outside of the bricks, the pavers here. And that's probably going to be difficult. They've got like a 4-foot 4-inch span, and I think the inside of the wheelbase on the truck is like 4.5 feet. So yay! It's going to be fun. Anyway, the reason that I have to do this is because that package weighs like 700 pounds, and my 6'3", 200-pound ass is not going to be able to manhandle that thing out. Now, theoretically, I could just cut the package open, take it out piece by piece, but there's still, you know, the posts and the head to deal with, and I don't know how much that stuff weighs, but it's probably not light. So the plan is to make it just underneath, in between these two pine trees here. As you can see, there's a cable running along there. It goes around to the other tree. Hopefully that was a little disorienting for you guys. And we have a chain fall hanging from, I don't even know if you can see that, but there's a chain fall hanging from a snatch block on this cable. That is essentially a crane. That's essentially what I'm going to use to pick these logs up and put them on the mill. You know, when I don't have the option to manhandle them with a couple of can hooks. So I'm just going to go ahead and go for broke on this and try to get this thing backed up. I'm not going to film any of that process because it's just going to take too long. And I don't think my ego can handle it. So, moving on. We are in place now. I think I managed to squeeze in without messing up any of my pavers. Don't know that for sure. We'll find out, you know, after I pull the truck out. But now the goal is to just go ahead and grab some rigging and get hooked up to this thing here and grab it with the chain fall and just float it out of the bed of the truck. And once it's floating, just drive the truck straight out, and then I can just drop it down to the ground. I can just lower it down nice and easy, and once it's there, then I can start tearing into everything. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started with that. Alright, that wasn't so bad. I'm sure you saw where I kind of had to rig up something to this tree over here, a come along here, so that I could pull everything back to what is the south, so that I could kind of line it up in the truck bed. That way I'd be able to pull off and leave this thing hanging without it catching up inside the bed and just wreaking havoc. But getting it unloaded really wasn't that bad. It wasn't that big of a deal. Now, it's time to open it up. Oh, yes. Well, isn't that nice? Okay, I'm gonna put the camera back on a stand and switch to time lapse for a little bit, because first thing that I'm gonna do, now that I've got it opened up, is I'm gonna shake all the parts out and make sure that I have everything that I need to get this thing put together. Because I've watched a few videos of people putting this together so far, and I'm not saying anything bad about Wood-Mizer. From what I understand, they're actually very, very good about this when it happens. But sometimes when they ship these things out, they don't always come with everything that they need. And what I mean about Wood-Mizer being good about this is that they're very quick to get the parts out next day delivery to people who run into this problem. I'm not saying that it's a frequent problem, but on the occasion that it does happen, Wood-Mizer is apparently quite good about getting these things to where they need to be. So, time lapse, shakeout. So far, everything seems to be here. I'm not really 100% sure because some of the pieces go by different names between the cut list and the manual. So the only real way to figure it out is to just go ahead and start putting it together. So, you know, here's to another probably long montage of time lapse. So I've run into a problem. Pretty big one. You can see back here behind me over my shoulder here, I've already moved two of those pavers back there in a little closer. It's because my dimensions are wrong. So I have to take the whole pad up and do it again, which means that I have to clean all of this, every bit of it out, and redo the whole pad. So what it's going to be, it's supposed to make obviously kind of a square or rectangle, 2/6 between here and here, and then what is it, about 2/8 in between there. So I just have to take all of this up and redo it, and this time at the proper dimension. I'm not going to take the feet off of here. I'm going to try to leave this stuff intact. In fact, I think I might just go ahead and try to put the side rails on and move them all as modular. So maybe it'll make it a little easier, a little quicker setting everything back up. when I get the pad to proper dimensions. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started with that. Okay, I've got the pad rebuilt now, and to be quite honest, that's like the most tiring part of this whole process. I mean, it didn't take a very, very long time, but it just sucks. So now I'm just going to take all the rails, get them moved back in place. Okay, so now I've got all my sections of track put together and staged out on the blocks, on the pavers. Next step is to go ahead and start leveling and squaring everything. I'm just going to go ahead and put it back on time lapse for all that, because that's going to be a bit of a process. My plan is to start all the way in the back, since that's the lowest point. Go ahead and get that leveled and squared up, and then level everything off with the rest of it, even though the head of my saw is going to be down here. It's just at that point down there being so low, I don't want to get this stuff up here leveled up and then get all the way down to the back there and run out of room on my adjustable feet. So I'm going to get that knocked out first and work my way forward. Alright, it's the next day, the 10th, March 10th, whatever. I didn't realize this was going to be a 2-day job. I kind of thought this thing would go together a little quicker and easier than it has. This is what I've got so far, and something that I noticed that I really wish that I had been paying attention to yesterday is it's backwards.